everybody, to a brand new edition of ROFLcast. I'm your host, Achilles, joined as always by my little busy bee that wants to be free from the sea, Shane Lemons.
Heyo.
And as always, I'm also joined by the hottie with the body who makes us feel naughty, Kayla. What up, girl?
Well, hello.
Sorry, I forgot you identify as a raptor. Her pronouns are... So if you hear some random roaring in the background, that's what that is. It's her just talking to herself like a fucking weirdo. We have a lot to talk to you about on ROFLcast today. None of it's interesting, but most of it is important, and that's the most important thing. And I want to start off this week by talking about one of my favorite presidents, Donald Trump.
Oh, God.
So he's like the LeBron James of presidents. If LeBron James is horrible at basketball and should have never been in the NBA,
I could see that, yeah.
And now we've seen a lot of artists speak out, especially when he was elected. But now we're seeing like a lot more people kind of like sliding in on it because Donald Trump has gone back on one ideal of the American way that a lot of people feel are unforgivable. There's two things that Americans are just super dick hard about, and that's their guns and their free speech. And they don't use either very well, but they're crazy important to them as a society. So when Donald Trump said, when he was inaugurated, that he would support any type of peaceful protest, that was proven to be a lie when Colin Kaepernick, who is a washed out second string quarterback who was about to be kicked from the league anyway, took a knee during national anthem because his girlfriend convinced him to do some sort of protest and thought protesting a police department would be super effective if you did it during a national anthem in a football game instead of at, a police station. So we're dealing with like two sides that I don't really agree with on either way. How do you guys feel about it? Do you think that protest was a legitimate way to protest police violence by kneeling during the anthem of a fucking football game?
Like, I just don't understand how everybody is losing their fucking minds over this when there's like some serious shit going on in the world.
Yeah, I mean, we have like hurricanes and
like the world is ending.
And they're like,
the world is ending.
A black guy's being lazy? Shocker. I mean, come on.
Oh,
Jesus.
Well, I mean, he is kneeling. I mean, can't even stand through the whole thing.
Hey, you know what? It actually takes a lot of effort to kneel.
How much?
Maybe it takes more effort to kneel than stand.
Yeah, you gotta use your core muscles and shit.
Yeah, I'm sure you spend a lot of time kneeling. You're probably an authority on that.
Shh, don't tell me.
But do you feel like, do you guys support Colin Kaepernick's protest? Shane, I'll start with you.
Well, I think it is a legitimate way to protest. Like, if you want to protest something, then do that. Like, in his situation, he feels justified in doing it. I don't think there's anything wrong from a free speech standpoint of him doing that, whether people see that as like, it's against the national anthem or whatever view they take on it. In my personal opinion, that's kind of irrelevant. He's trying to make a statement, and he's not the only one. There's other people that are doing that as well, and things like that. They're using whatever tools they have or whatever influence they have to try to make a statement and bring attention and awareness to something that is actually important, that is something that needs to be addressed by the nation as a whole. I think that there's a lot of challenges down there, and this is just another person trying to say, hey, we need to do something about this. Whether people get up their arms up and crazy, and kind of what Kayla said, it's like, there's a lot worse things that are going on than worrying about this guy, taking a knee during the national anthem. It's probably more important to either focus on the issues or the reasons why he's doing that, or other issues that are going on in the world. It's just this whole media blitz around it, and that's the kind of like, again, just more distraction of like, people, Donald Trump being angry at this person when it's like he's declaring frickin' nuclear war on North Korea, but at the same time it's like he's complaining about this guy taking a knee during, and I don't know, maybe it doesn't affect me as much because I don't really care all that much, but
you don't like America, you don't like football, and most importantly, you hate the president of the black people. You hate black people.
I didn't say any of those things. I quite enjoy.
But what I'm doing is I'm reading between the lines of what you're saying. I'm using what I call liberal rhetoric, where I misconstrue what you say to be racist if I don't agree with it.
And then you just force your own words in there to make yourself feel right.
Exactly. We call it the Coulter effect.
I call it Facebook.
I don't think that's liberal rhetoric, sir.
It is. And liberals are off the fucking wall with calling every everyone racist. You're a white supremacist. You're racist. Oh, you don't like chocolate? That's a microaggression against black people because of the color of chocolate. Things like that. Okay, I see what you're saying, and I completely disagree with all of it. Kayla, how about you?
Honestly, I feel the same way. I kind of look at it as, everybody's losing their minds about it, and it's okay. But I mean, when it comes to seeing people in the media and people who are what you call famous, whether it's in sports or whatever, for him to make a stand like that, it does, get out more and people hear more about it. And it honestly kind of takes balls to do that when you have your entire team looking at you being like, what the fuck?
That team already hated him because he fucking sucks at football and was a washout.
I mean, fair. But I mean, like if that's the way that you want to protest, then, you have freedom in your country. You should be allowed to protest that way. Just because your president doesn't like it or understand it because he has the brain the size of a peanut doesn't make you a bad person.
Well, that's a fair argument, but why both of you are wrong, and I'll explain it using science. So when it comes to these protests, okay, yes, you are allowed to protest any way you want, and you're also allowed to disrespect whatever country you want, and that includes your own country. That's one of the benefits of being a citizen. Of course, it's illegal to burn a flag, but we do have other forms of protest that are allowed, and disrespecting the national anthem is one of them. And let's not make any mistake here. He was talking about police violence. The national anthem is about the unity of this country. And you may feel the unity of this country is threatened because of the action of some of these people, but we also need to acknowledge that this is a dumb fucking protest. This is the dumbest fucking way to do it. Let's say he wanted to... What's one of the biggest problems that they face in America? Medical reform, right? There's people that are literally with the same disease I have, which is AIDS, who are dying in America right now because they deserve to, because they're Americans, but also because they can't afford healthcare. And, that's really, really fucked up. People are literally dying. Same by the cops. But people are dying in larger numbers and in more horrible ways because of a lack of access to healthcare. Now, if I was going to protest healthcare reform, if I was a basketball player, if I knelt during the national anthem to protest healthcare reform and I was a Mexican guy, do you think I would get this much traction?
Well, no, you're not famous.
Well, let's say I was a famous Mexican, like Julio Cesar Chavez or Jennifer Lopez. Do you think they would raise the same awareness? I say no, and here's why. Because Colin Kaepernick did this protest over a year ago. No one gave a shit. They're like, what a disrespectful cunt. Good thing he's a second stringer that no one cares about. And that was it. No one talked about it. It just died. The movement died. And then a year and a half later, President Trump is like, just caught on to it. He's like, wait a minute, there's a nigger kneeling during the NFL? I need to stop this madness. So he goes over and he's like, hey, Colin Kaepernick, you're a faggot. Stop kneeling, you bitch. That's our country. Now, on this one instance, I agree. Colin Kaepernick is a bitch, and he shouldn't kneel during the national anthem. Why? Because you are a paid employee of the National Football League. During the National Football League, they play the anthem because they are representing the country that they are from. You are, as an employee, do not have the right. You have a conduct code, right? Like the same way why we don't let, someone beat their wife on field in the middle of a game is the same way we shouldn't let people cause this form of protest during a game. It's bullshit that that he thinks it's okay to disrespect the flag, because what he is doing is disrespecting our anthem and our flag. There's no two bones about it. We stand for those things because they represent us as a nation, and that's how we show respect. He chose not to show respect because of violence from police officers. Well, I think that's fucking stupid.
You could say that it's not showing respect, but at the end of the day, it's still free speech.
You're right. I'm not saying it's not free speech.
There's no reason that he shouldn't be allowed to do that. And if that's what he wants to do, then...
Yeah, but free speech as an employee changes because there's a morality clause in the NFL. The same way why I can't go on CTV News and start going, Jews shouldn't vote. I don't care for Hispanics. We should drown Polynesian children. I would get fired if I worked at CTV because that's my free speech.
That's a risk that he is taking by making that stand, by doing that. That's a risk that he's taking. But
also you have to look at the context of it. He wasn't kneeling because he hates his country and thinks the country is a piece of shit. Like, he was kneeling for a separate reason.
That's what he said, though. He was embarrassed of his country, and that's why he knelt.
Well, I mean,
that's fucked up.
A lot of people are, but no, I thought it was because of, like,
he's trying to raise awareness around.
See, that's the thing. No one even knows because his story has changed 3 or 4 times. The first time he did
cop brutality, then I'd be like, that's different. But if it was because he was disrespecting his country, then I can see your side of things.
Can we say that this is just a bad form of protest? Can we just agree on that point? Like, there's a better way for him to protest this issue.
Yeah, there's definitely probably more successful ways to protest than to kneel during the national anthem.
I think maybe being a famous football player, you could go to the police station and start a silent protest there. What's more powerful than someone who is rich and famous standing silently with tape over his mouth with a Black Lives Matter sign outside of a police station, and he just keeps doing it day after day?
If they really wanted to make change, then you would start some form of education or some type of education for police officers, something that actually makes a difference.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Training program.
Yeah, like a protest is one thing. Yes, it raises awareness. Yes, you can, but unless you have some form of action plan of how are we actually going to address this issue, like raising awareness is one thing, but actually starting something, using the money that he has as an individual to try to actually enact change, that would be a lot more productive.
That's the point I was getting at. I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem with it, is that like people are praising him for doing this, but I don't think he should be praised. I think he should be scolded for doing it shittily. There's a better way he could do it. He didn't put his money where his mouth was. He wasn't articulate about expressing it. He didn't talk to his coach or his team or anybody else. He just did it on his own. And that's one thing that really bothers me, because he was actually going to sit for the national anthem originally, but then he talked to a Marine who was like, I don't think you should do this. And he's like, okay, well, I'll kneel. And he's like, I guess that's okay. And that was a compromise that they came to. But I think that people were already aware of the police violence that's happening, that he should have held a press conference before and after the game, that he should have provided money and funding, just as Shane said. I mean, there was just so much more effective ways to do this. He shouldn't be praised for taking this step. He should be condemned for not taking it far enough.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Now, because of that protest has been brought back into the lexicon and people are kind of talking about it again. Eminem emerges like fucking Jeepers Creepers every few years just to light the world on fire. And he did. I mean, the last time we heard a song from Eminem was a little while ago. He comes out with a cypher during the BET Awards, and it goes more viral than anything else. It's huge. So if people haven't seen it, we'll link to it on ROFLcast.com. Eminem did a freestyle cypher at the BET Awards, roasting Trump 4.5 minutes. And it was absolute fire. Did you guys watch this?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
I just watched it today, actually.
Okay, let's get your thoughts on it, Kayla.
I mean, it's always just nice to have Eminem back, because, Eminem.
Yeah, more white artists.
Yeah, right? No. Hey, man, it goes back to my childhood. You leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. I only listen to white people, too.
I don't know. I kind of, he did bring up a lot of good points, and, like we were saying earlier, focusing on the NFL instead of, he says Puerto Rico and stuff like that. It just pointing out the stupid things that this man is focusing on when there are such bigger things going on in the world, and how ridiculous he is, and people are somehow okay with it. Well, some people, I should say.
So if you were going to rate Donald Trump versus Eminem, who are you giving the mic to, or who are you giving the trophy to?
What, like in a rap battle or just in life?
I mean, when it comes to proving their point.
Eminem.
All day.
All day, every day.
All right, how about you, Shane?
Eminem.
Now, how did you feel about the cypher?
I thought it was great. Sort of similar views to Kayla in terms of the fact that it's nice to have Eminem back, but at the same time, it was nice to see some artists with some substance. I feel like, at least for me, lately, I've been listening to a lot of mainstream pop and stuff that's on the radio.
You a big Taylor Swift fan?
Not necessarily. It's just whatever's on, top 40, and then to actually hear an artist come out and do something that's a little bit political, a little bit more what people would consider sort of like grassroots or kind of fringy in the artist community, to have somebody with such an amount of fame and that level of reverence to be able to come out and just say what Eminem said was extremely powerful. And the first thing I wanted to do, I was like, man, I should take this and do like a Rage Against the Machine style metal track underneath it.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
A song and post it on YouTube.
Holy shit, yes, dude, that's a brilliant idea.
Because it very much reminded me of like a Rage Against the Machine style rap.
Yeah.
Wake up! Yeah, exactly. That level of substance and that level of poignancy that is not always seen from artists and from entertainers. It tends to be a lot of surface level or very personal relationship driven content, whereas that was I guess they would say more in the heart of what hip hop is and has been about, is more of that style. style, which was super awesome to see. What did you think?
Actually.
Oh man, like I thought. Listen, I love Eminem. When he comes with fire. He is a devastating individual, and he comes to destroy. He did not hold back. He came with passion, fire, and fury. And then we realized why Eminem's one of the best of all time, because he could eloquently and ferociously articulate the ideas and the struggle and the passion and the anger that is felt in the community through these songs. They can do it while rhyming, and that's really fucking incredible. And I mean, his flow is just as tight as ever. I mean, he did this one really loose, but I still think that he had really, really tight lines. God damn. There was one line that just really, I don't know how I feel about it, and I really want to support this whole heart, but then he goes, "'Cause like him in politics, I'm using all of his tricks. I'm throwing that piece of shit against the wall till it sticks. And any fan of mine who's a supporter of his, I'm drawing a line in the sand. And you're either for or against. And if you can't decide who you like more and you're split on who you should be stand beside, I'll do it for you. Fuck you." Now, I mean, great lines and everything, but god damn, man, I don't think that type of divisiveness is going to unite a country. It's like, hey, this whole picking side thing just drives me nuts. Like, you don't have to hate Trump to hate, to support a lot of the same policies and values as somebody, like, you don't have to inspire hate in people's hearts to rally them. Because that was one thing about Eminem that why he got such a large following, because he was like, stand up, unite, and fight back against authority. We all stick together and we're in this together. It doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, we are in this together and we're fighting for something better. And I wish you would harp into that instead of being like, hey fans, you better enjoy my politics or I don't want you. I mean, that's I don't know. Does that bug you guys as much as it bugs me?
Not at all.
Really?
I'm not bothered by that one bit.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of right-wing artists that I love, and I wouldn't want them to be like, you're not allowed to be my fan or come to my concerts because you're centrist.
But he's making a statement, right? So if he were to not do that, it would make it a lot less poignant. And he's trying to take a stand and show that he himself does not stand with those types of policies, ideals, and attitudes. And yes, it might be a little bit, I don't know, brazen in the way that he did it or the way that he said it. But personally, for me, I think it's pretty powerful that he's willing to be like, hey, if you're a fan of mine and you like this person, then I don't want you as a fan because what this person stands for is totally and completely against everything that I stand for.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that when it comes to artists, I divorce their politics from it. You know what I mean? Metallica doesn't like sued.
Yeah, it's because none of those artists they don't have any political things. They don't say anything political. It's all. I mean, they do. I mean,
I listen to fucking Dead Prez and shit, man. Like,
but this is like if you go back to the 70s and shit, like all of the bands back in the day, everything that they were singing about was very powerful, very politically driven. Back during the Vietnam days,
yeah,
when
like
the war was going on,
and shit like that had a lot
there
of
was
that.
a
Jimi Hendrix,
huge amount of what artists were doing and saying was extremely poignant in terms of what they had to say politically, and we've lost that in a lot of our artists today. A lot of the artists don't really. Again, it's like I was saying about
but they don't have to. That's not their job. Their job is to sing songs that we enjoy. They don't have to stand up for a certain political side. They don't have to have opinions about shit. They just have to make a beat I like and lyrics that I connect with.
But I still miss music that actually meant something and actually had something behind it. It doesn't have to be about politics.
Yeah, so do I.
Like, it's not just garbage about big booty hoes and stuff like that. Like, I just, like, rap is garbage now unless you really look into the non-mainstream artists.
That's not even fair. There's a bunch of mainstream. I think rap is definitely on an upturn. We got Chance the Rapper, who's more mainstream. We got Kendrick Lamar, who is getting some of the best political commentary that we've ever seen in music.
Yeah, it's starting to come back, but for the past, it has been just trash.
I mean, there's always been... that's the thing. I think about hip-hop, it's a really diverse genre, and a lot of attention goes on to the songs that... Like, let's be honest. If we hear, like, a Pitbull track come on at the club, we're all busted a move, right? We're cutting some rug. But we're not... I mean, I'm not going to go home and listen to the same drivel, and like, actually connect with it. But it doesn't mean that I don't want club bangers, you know what I mean? I could give a fuck about, Katy Perry and Taylor Swift's beef, but it's inspiring them to make a lot more music, you know what I mean? And you know what, they released 2 diss tracks for each other recently. What's Taylor Swift's new song called?
She came out with 2, didn't she?
The one about
What You Made Me Do.
Yeah, Look What You Made Me Do. And then thanks, Shane. That was bait.
Not,
I knew that, and that was bait, motherfucker.
Like that song. I do not.
Yeah,
like
it's
that
a horrible song. And then Katy Perry has Swish Swish. And between those 2 songs, there's like almost 3 lines of like listenable material. And it's Nicki Minaj's little verse on Swish Swish, and that's about it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, like it's not a good example. But what I'm saying is,
I would prefer my artists to be politically charged and actually have something to say of value and merit, as opposed to it's Friday.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like the two. Those are the 2 most polar opposites. But like, you can't tell me that there aren't songs about love that hit you in like a visceral place. Or songs about losing someone.
Love is an important part of life, and
yeah, we're talking about politics.
I know.
And like,
I think if you listen
there's
to
room for all types of music.
It's similar, like you kind of said, is like if you listen to more of sort of like the underground scene, whether it be hip hop, whether it be folk music, whether it be bluegrass, you will find a lot more things that are poignant, a lot more of that political stuff, or things that are associated with larger concepts of life outside of the sort of lowest common denominator, Nickelback and Nicki Minaj.
Nickelback has a really good song, man. You know that. The one about this afternoon, smoking weed and drinking beer and hanging out, that's a fucking Alberta night right there. They captured it perfectly.
It's not to say that Nickelback hasn't written some catchy, good music, but again, it's not really. They have a lot of songs that aren't saying much.
But is that okay?
Yeah, I think it's okay, but
there's room for all of them. In
context of what we're talking about right now, I think it's really nice to see someone with the amount of fame and influence as Eminem has, that type of an individual making a statement politically.
Yeah, I feel you. I think that's what kind of what we're circling around here, is that we like to see both. I mean, I want to have frivolous club bangers so I can, if I can shake my booty on the dance floor. And then I also want to have stuff that when I'm at home and I'm listening to, like Immortal Technique or something, where I'm learning, where I'm getting something out of it, where it's making me think about a lot of the stuff I don't think about. But I don't require my artists to be that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't, it's not like a prerequisite, like, oh, you know what? I'm not sure how Mike Shinoda voted, so I can't listen to Linkin Park. I don't care. I just care about the music. And some of the music I like is frivolous and some of it is deep, but I think there's room for all of them, and I just don't have a standard that my artists have to follow. Do whatever the fuck you want. But when it comes to your job, like if your job is being a football player or a singer or a UFC fighter or whatever, I'm more interested in what your talent is in that field than I am about like your personal shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is a bad example. Oh no, I'm not gonna use football. Okay, George St. Pierre. He believes in aliens. He thinks he's been abducted by aliens. He's a crazy person. I don't give a shit. I think he's the fucking, one of the best fighters of all time, and I love watching him fight. Demetrius Johnson, console gamer. I believe all console gamers are fully retarded, but Demetrius Johnson is the greatest fighter of all time, and I don't judge him for playing console. It's just one of those things that, like, I mean, fuck, one of my favorite albums of all time is Thriller, and god damn it if Michael Jackson didn't molest a bunch of kids. So if
allegedly.
Right, allegedly. Tell that to the emotionally scarred children that spent time at Neverland Ranch. I've seen that look in those eyes. I grew up in the Catholic Church, okay? I've seen that look in those eyes of those kids. I know what happened. And yeah, doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to Michael Jackson, rapist or not. And that's the thing. If I can look past the shitty politics and, there's a lot of artists who are super left-wing and just don't get it. And there's a lot of country artists who I love who are super right-wing and just don't get it. Jason Aldean, I mean, this is one of the weirdest forms of karma, I guess. A pro-gun, gun-toting person who gets his concert shot up and completely changes his political views. And he's written songs about being like, fuck you, don't take our guns. I will fight back violently. And then he gets something like that happen to him and he completely has a 180. I mean, that's not the way I wanted him to have in 180, but I do appreciate that.
I don't think you should judge an artist's merit based on their political views.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's the argument.
Like, there's it's not to say because someone thinks politically a certain way that, their ability to write music or their ability to act or box or fight or whatever it is should be judged based on that. But hold on.
Let's put that's exactly the point. Why can't the artists treat us the same way? If we can forgive their politics, they should forgive ours. And that's why I disagree with Eminem. In that specific instance, everything else I agree with.
Yeah, but I mean, I also think, you have to look at it this way. It's gotten to that point. It's at the point where how far can Trump go before people realize he is who caused World War III?
But that's the thing.
I feel like
we are seeing a different type
that we're at.
Say again, sorry? I talked over you, sorry.
No, I feel like that's the panic point that America, the majority of people are seeing what the fuck's happening, and that's why Eminem is going this extreme with it, because he, how can you guys not realize how are you not terrified of not?
See,
that's why he's saying, fuck you. That's not saying it's right. I can see your side of it too. People are allowed to believe what they believe, and that is their complete right, and they should not,
you cut out.
Kind of that tipping point.
They're allowed to believe what they want, and then you cut out, sorry.
She's just saying that they're at the tipping point.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I get it. For us, let's say that we are woke, in quotation marks. There's a lot of people who aren't, and there's a lot of people who just watch the news, trust the news, live that type of lifestyle, and live in their little hug box. All their Facebook friends agree with them. They watch all the same news stations, they read the same newspaper, and they all get the same type of information. And when they get that same type of information that's filtered, they get, oh my god, the president's doing a great job, he's really fixing things. And then on the opposite side, we have people that are getting the news filtered through the left-wing side, and they're like, oh my god, Trump's the worst, he's a monster. At his last speech, he stopped the thing in the middle and went out to go shake a hand of a Mexican vet, and that wasn't covered by the left-wing media. It was only covered by the right-wing, and that was something that was really interesting, because I was like, wait, why wouldn't they want to show the good things he does? But then we realized that he is a flawed human being. 99% of what he does is bullshit. A lot of why the character idea or whatever, a lot of it happens purely because when I watched season 1 of The Apprentice, I was like, this guy is ridiculous and he says fucking anything. And a lot of it was molded around Trump, of being willfully ignorant but assuming that he's right and saying in a way that he's right. So when it circled back around and then he became president and he was stealing my bits I was doing in his character, I was getting really pissed off. I was like, man, I was saying build a wall years before this motherfucker was. I was racist first. And no one fucking listened to me. But I also I hate
you aren't orange. So.
Yeah. It's not that I let's just say this. I hate a lot of what Trump does, but I also hate how it's not fairly covered. That he's a bad person who will fucking bury himself. He is digging his own grave, but you need to be honest and fair along the way while you do it. Exaggerating, hyperbole, misleading people, and sensationalizing is exactly what the other side does. And that's what we want to try to stop.
That's what the media does.
You're right. I mean, there is some media that, skews a little bit more evenly, but not always. And the problem is that we get stuck reading both left and right wing stuff just to get a clear picture of what happened.
Well, that's why I hate the news and stuff, because it's always one-sided. I don't know of a news source where it covers both sides.
Yeah,
Fox News is...
For every Fox News, there's a Huffington Post. For every CNN, there's a Gawker. For every...
CBC and BBC News are probably the two best if you want to get the most centrist information possible.
Not anymore, I don't think. Last few years
BBC and CBC are the two best if you want to get the most centrist information. That being said, there are laws in Canada and the UK that make it illegal to lie on news programs, whereas in the United States, it is 100% legal. This is 100% legal in the US to lie in a news broadcast.
If it was illegal to lie on the news, we wouldn't have weathermen. Let's just say that.
They had a case that went to trial, and while it was in trial, the Supreme Court made a decision based on the laws in the U.S. that said nowhere in the United States law does it say that what a news organization has to release needs to be actually true. So that's challenges they face in the U.S. on both sides, all of the different angles that you want to spin with it, and that's why we don't have a really strong sort of right-wing Fox in Canada, is because because that stuff doesn't fly here.
We have the Rebel.
Yeah, but the Rebel, again, isn't broadcast.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Well, like, I'm specifically speaking to, like, broadcast news corporations. So that's kind of one of the weird things that they have in the U.S. is, and you know, he's talked about, we're going to update that. That'll never goddamn happen because he's benefiting from the fact that they don't have updated libel laws. He's promoting and he's talking about news stories that are 100% fallacies, talking about how, you know, Hillary Clinton ran some, like, rapist ring or some garbage crap that was
Pizzagate.
There you go, some weird shit, you know. And
Pizzagate.
Like, you know, if they had the libel laws in place, you'd have, you know, in the UK, it's not uncommon for news organizations to be sued and go to court and pay huge fines for, like, releasing stories that are not true. So they have policies and procedures in place to ensure that stuff doesn't happen. And that's what they don't have in the US. And I think they would benefit a lot from doing that. But news companies don't want to put that in place because if
they're pandering to a specific audience. Oh, my headphones cut out.
A specific audience?
Sorry. Say that again. My headphones cut out.
I'm just saying, you said something about a specific audience.
Oh, they're trying to cater to a specific audience specifically because that's how they get ratings, right? Like, when you monetize the news, they have to play into what people want to see. And if people want to see a certain type of story told a certain way, that's what they're going to do. And they become entertainment programs before they become news programs.
That's ultimately what it comes down to, is that this is actually a form of entertainment and no longer an actual form of news. And you're putting people who are PhDs with 10 years in university, with 30 years of work experience, you're putting them on a podium up against someone who is 1 year with an organization who's an activist for something. And now what you're doing is you're presenting these two opinions as being equal.
Like when they brought Ketchup from the Occupy Wall Street movement to speak for them. A transgender named Ketchup.
Yeah, I don't know enough specifics around that, but what I'm kind of referring to is when you have someone like, you know, a seasoned professional and you're putting them up against like a science denier, or you're putting them up against somebody who, you know, is just a crackpot, and now you're putting this on a pedestal in a way that makes it seem like the reality. The majority of people all see eye to eye with the person that is actually not full of shit. But it doesn't make it very entertaining if you just have 10 people that are all in agreement that all say, yes, this is the smart thing to do. Totally. Yes, this is the right thing to do. We all agree because we're all smart, common sense, intelligent people. That doesn't make very good entertaining program.
That's why I'm here.
Is it?
Yes. So let's wrap up this Eminem story. We've been on it for a long time. I support what he says. I support how he did it. I like that he's being politically active. I support artists being politically active. And I don't like the line about him saying that you can't be a fan of both, because I think the best way to get people together is with honey, not with fire.
Fire!
All right. Now let's talk about something that is really, really fucked up. Twitter sucks, right? Yeah, like Twitter's like the worst thing that's ever happened.
How dare you?
The problem with Twitter is that you only have 140 characters and you can't be very nuanced, so every piece of content that gets released is just tidbits of huge garbage.
Okay, tell us how you really feel there, Shane. Jesus. I knew you hated Twitter, but I didn't realize you hated it that much.
Nuance, being able to have like an in-depth discussion. It's like someone posts, oh, the new such and such. I give it 1 out of 1.
You just don't like that like any nationality can register for an account.
Wow.
I'm okay with that.
So Twitter has done a lot of dumb things in the past. They banned Milo and they shouldn't have banned Milo. Say what you will about Milo, he's a piece of shit, whatever. But they banned him under dumb pretenses. Then they banned Edward Snowden, also very stupid. And they ban and not verify a lot of random people, especially those whose politics they disagree with. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, who I greatly respect, was shadow banned for a long time. People that Richard Dawkins, I mean, there's been a lot. Like, Twitter has a weird political slant where they will ban people that don't line up with their own personal politics without ever telling people that that's what they have to do. And I think that's really, really, really gross because they lack the transparency of showing that, okay, these people all have alternative viewpoints and they need to be expressed as well. And this is just a platform, not a political platform, right? Oh, hold on. My headphones.
Going with this.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I realized I just could not hear you guys for the entire time I've been doing this. I still can't hear you guys. You might be saying stuff right now. Not that it matters. I mean, this podcast is really, you're just here so I can yell.
True.
Going with this. That's the real question.
Okay. So Twitter does a lot of things politically that's really silly. They've hired people like Arnita Sarkeesian in order to lock down free speech they don't don't like, even if it's factual, like Thunderfoot and etc. But what happens when they ban a victim of rape for speaking out about it?
That happened recently, did it not?
That happened very recently. And that is disturbing on a big level.
Are you talking about Rose McGowan?
Who's that? I'm saying that I was banned. No,
right.
No, Rose McGowan was banned. And it was for a tweet that she said, "Fuck you, Ben."
So, have you seen the update on the story since Twitter's made an official post and talked about why they did it and what it was about, and they've now unbanned her account?
I'm sure DeFranco will have an update about it, but I have not seen.
Yeah, so basically they did ban her account, but it had to do with the fact that one of the posts that she made actually posted someone's phone number in it, and sort of doxed somebody's personal credentials and information, and that goes against their terms of services and policy.
Except that other people do it often and don't have any like repercussion for doing so.
True. So they have unbanned her account now, but that is their official story, quote unquote. That's their official party line of why they did that.
Except I'm looking at the tweets now, and she doesn't actually use anyone's phone number. It's from a phone screenshot.
That tweet in particular has now been deleted.
It's I mean, obviously nothing is ever deleted off the internet.
See if you can find it. But I still think that it's their own fault for not showing and being upfront with their terms of services.
Well, they are, but they don't.
They can't. It's the same bullshit with YouTube. It's like they ban somebody for talking about the news, and then they have Jimmy Kimmel or one of the on there, and they don't ban him, and they don't turn off his ads, and they leave all their money stuff coming in, and it's the exact same stuff talking about the same thing, but then they've deleted somebody else's video, and it's literally YouTube did it. It's not they got flagged by somebody else.
So ridiculous.
They've done that. They've said, oh, that video, no, it can't be monetized, or we're taking it down, even though they're talking about the same thing as somebody else. And it's just, you're 100% right that it's extremely biased in terms of these decisions that these tech companies are making lately.
So why would they make a bias? Why would they make a bias ban against a rape victim?
Well, again, you don't know the full story in terms of why they did that. Who did it?
I'm reading the article now, but it just doesn't make sense.
Who on staff at Twitter did that? Was it an individual? What are all the nuances? What are all the variables? What are all the things inside of the nuance part of that issue? It's kind of funny. The story just like Twitter because you can't be nuanced. Knows why it happened. Should they do it? Hell no. Is it completely dumb that happened? Yes. Entirely stupid. And the timing of it is even more like horror going on with the Weinstein stuff. And I think that, it does not shed good light on Twitter. And like there was a huge backlash. Tons of people were posting about them doing this, especially when you see some of the stuff and then somebody posts something about, the fact that they've been
Twitter lost their goodwill.
Sexual harassment. Like what the hell?
Yeah, but Twitter lost all their goodwill by banning people based around nothing and not banning others for the exact same thing. They show a huge double standard, and they have allowed this type of behavior to continue. And because of that, when we see them go after someone like this, all it does is conjure up the images of, hey, if you're a woman, when you speak out, you'll get punished.
Yeah.
What it looks like, but I certainly hope and I believe and I try to believe in the goodness of people, and I think it was just somebody made a really bad call, and that wasn't their intent.
They've had no, this is like the John Jones thing.
Their intent in this situation was not to silence somebody.
You're giving them too much rope, dude, because this is absolute bullshit. They've done this repeatedly. How many times do they have to fail us and unjustly ban someone that does not deserve to be banned until we say, hey, enough is enough?
I think, again, I believe their intent was to silence someone that was a victim of sexual harassment and of other shit, obviously, that's come to light. I want to believe that. Whether it's not, maybe they are just a bunch of, fascist assholes that run Twitter and they don't know their, elbow. But at the end of the day, I would like to believe in humanity.
You are a much more optimistic person than myself. I'll tell you that, because the way that they've acted is ridiculous. And whether or not they did it deliberately or intentionally, or if it was all just one giant misunderstanding, the fact is they did it. And they didn't do enough to prevent something like this happening to a victim who is trying to speak out against a serial rapist. People are just calling it the Weinstein scandal. The Weinstein scandal? This motherfucker is a serial rapist. It should be called Weinstein is a serial rapist scandal. It's not a fucking scandal. Stop trying to sensationalize or downplay how horrible this is. Yeah. It is years of aggressive abuse that was talked about.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it was talked about. 2007 Evan Rose McGowan came to light with this, and she was put down and sent away.
And not to mention that in Hollywood, there are so many more people like him still in Hollywood that are getting away with this on a daily basis.
And yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing that other people are now speaking out, and not all of them are women. A lot of them are men. James Vanderbeek, Terry Crews, Elijah Wood. I'm sure Corey would be speaking around if he was still alive.
It is a systemic issue of the industry. It's because the people who have the power in that industry can literally make or break your career. They can give you opportunity, or they can decide to not give you that opportunity. And when one person holds that much control and power over others, they become what gets viewed as being untouchable, and they act like they can do whatever they want. And the sad reality is that it's not even just the bigwigs. It's people that are in smaller positions. Shows. It's producers of web series of content on the internet.
Oh yeah, we saw that with Screen Junkies.
Totally, exactly.
Still going to support the movies.
Oh yeah, are we going to support these movies? Yes or no?
Yes. I mean, why should
Definitely.
people who are in it be penalized for somebody being a disgusting piece of shit?
Because he gets the money.
Well, he's kicked out of their organization now.
Doesn't matter. He still has contracts for those money. For that, he's a producer on these things. It's tied to his name, not just his production company.
But just because he put the money forward doesn't mean that we should, not support Quentin Tarantino and not support these other amazing individuals.
Why? Are they not privy to this information? Like, look at what Rose McGowan said. Fucking Ben Affleck knew. Matt Damon knew. Tarantino knew. And no one did anything.
Well, a lot of people, and again, we don't know to what extent these people did or did not know what was going on with this individual. It does sound like that this was kind of a hushed thing amongst Hollywood for decades. People have known, and people have been warned about his behavior. But it's tough to say, when you think of a movie, and that's one of the challenges when you are kind of removed from it, but those films take hundreds, if not thousands of people to make that happen. From the costume designers to the people behind the scenes to the grips to the ADs to everybody that's involved.
And all of them are rapists.
Yeah, exactly. You can't hold all of them accountable for the fact that one guy is a giant piece of shit and it just so happens he's the one with the money. So I would still say yes, support the artists, support the community, but if there is a way to help enact change, whether that means that the unions that are involved in the entertainment industry need to be putting money into education and groups to ensure this stuff doesn't continue to happen. But the fucked up thing is this isn't just in the entertainment industry. This is in many different industries as well. You have these positions where you have people that are in power and they take advantage of that. And that is something that is a bigger systemic issue within our entire society that needs to be addressed and needs to be dealt with. Yes, the stuff in the entertainment industry is more sort of exposed and more
prevalent.
I would probably say prevalent, yeah, because you have so many people in positions of power that can make or break someone's life or career. But at the same time, like it's a systemic issue in our society.
Absolutely. I even know of people who have had their bosses be like, I will give you a promotion if you do this for me. And it's disgusting. And it's like
messed up.
They don't know what to do because they need their job. But at the same time, it's gross and it's terrifying. And like, I can't imagine, like, I've never been in a position like that. Like, I can't imagine.
You're not pretty enough.
I know, exactly. I'm so happy I'm ugly. But like, I can't imagine what they go through and like how you would deal with something like that. Like, especially if somebody's being like, I'm going to hand you your fucking dream.
Oh, listen, I can't say I was above that. I've definitely fucked a couple of my bosses, but I was trying to fuck them. And nothing, fair. I didn't get anything out of it. That's the thing that really, really bugs me is that the people that will be getting the money from the royalties of these films are not the people like the Key Grip who had no fucking idea what's going on, or the guy who was doing the graphics on the DVD cover. The people getting the money are the producers and the actors that were starring in it, and they were privy to what he was like, and they remained silent. Do they not? Are those who are complicit with his behavior not just as guilty as him?
I mean, again, it comes to that point, like, I'm not saying they have an excuse, but when you're in a position and in your career and you're trying to make something of your career, like, it's kind of hard to, you gotta kind of think in their way. Like, if somebody came out and didn't know for sure 100% this had actually happened, like the person told, like Rose McGowan, for example, told Ben Affleck that this had happened to her, but nobody knew 100% sure. Yes, it's his word against hers. She was obviously right. Like, how do you choose to come out about something that you don't know is true?
You're right. I would agree.
And you had Harvey Weinstein, who was showing up with a lawyer and paying them off and literally getting the them to sign agreements that say
that's fucking guilt, dude. If I saw that dude do that, that's guilty.
If you talk about this with anyone, I can sue your ass and I can sue you for slander, and you've signed this agreement with me, and it is I can't remember what they call it, a clause to make it so you can't say anything, but
non-disclosure,
maybe, whatever. Yeah, I don't think that's the right term, but basically they silence them and they say, here's $100,000, here's $100,000, don't say anything. If you say anything,
non-disclosure clause,
we're gonna deny it, and we're gonna sue the shit out of you if you talk about this. And he went around and did this for years, went around and did that. So then you have that sort of
more fear-mongering. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but hold up. You don't have to sign any of that shit. If he calls you and texts you and then starts touching you, then comes to you with like a legal document that says, oh, I have an NDA for you. It's like, too bad. Fuck you.
Well, you can do that, but again, back, and people, like, I am in no way, shape, or form going to say that the decisions that those people made to sign those agreements did what was right or wrong for them as an individual. They did what they felt that they had to do in those situations, and that's why they did that. But that's just another systemic issue that we have to deal with, because those people felt more in fear about speaking out than they did about not saying anything and getting a paycheck.
This is the problem.
Money.
People were speaking out.
That is so messed up. They should be speaking out. They should be talking.
Yeah, but people did, and they got silenced, right? Like that was the problem, is that people ignored them. Like, there was news reports about this stuff, news reports that got buried, not because of the, what's it called?
I think there's probably dozens, if not hundreds more, that have all been paid off and signed things.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
No one has
There's
ever
a ton
heard about, and that is completely messed up.
It is, but let's talk about the people that did speak out and weren't heard. And the way that Twitter's acting right now, okay, it's just like, let me back up a little bit. So when the victims spoke out earlier and were not heard, they were ignored, there weren't news reports about it, people didn't follow up on this, and it was a well-known secret in Hollywood. They were just covering it up for him, and there's a whole bunch of people that cover up. It's not just, it doesn't take just one person. It takes a whole bunch of people. All the people that were working for him were covering it up too. And that's why I'm just as willing to condemn those people as I am to condemn Harvey Weinstein. It's same, you know what it is? It's like the guys in the Catholic Church, they never raped anybody, but they covered up the rapists. Fuck those guys. If you cover for a rapist, even if you know the guy's a fucking creep, don't cover for that guy. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
It's such fucking hypocrisy and bullshit. Yeah, and that's the thing. People are like, oh, well, we didn't really know they said it. No, fuck you, Meryl Streep. You knew the whole goddamn time, and you allowed it to happen. Anyone who didn't know is fucking ignorant. They made an Entourage episode about it. It wasn't a new thing. Jessica Alba told the story how she was a casting couch victim of Harvey Weinstein. I mean, there's too much evidence that people just didn't give a fuck about for a long time because that guy had money. And that shows you how fucked up Hollywood is. That
you thought a casting couch was just some fake porn shit. No, man. No, shit happens.
Yeah, and that makes it so much sadder and more expletive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, when you're taking this area where these people are artists, they're emotional people. They are people who take on the identities of others and want to dedicate themselves to a craft where most people fail. That is terrifying to do. It takes incredible bravery to pursue that path. And then next, it doesn't matter how fucking good you are. You can be the best actor on the planet. If you fuck up your reputation in Hollywood, you're not getting cast another role. It's not like you're on fucking Singer, where you don't get signed to Interscope and you can just go post videos to YouTube and still make it big. You can't just like act in front of your webcam and expect to get, make a ton of money. It doesn't work like that. It's
shit, what am I doing?
It is not a craft that is paid in dividends unless you're part of the studio system. So knowing they have to do that, knowing that they bend over backwards and make relationships, puts them in an extremely vulnerable position, especially because they're desperate for work in the early days, because they know that these early days can make or break their career.
Yeah.
And then knowing this Hollywood producer uses this to manipulate, coerce, and force women into sex acts. He has enough money to afford prostitutes. He probably is rich enough they could find some sugar baby willing to leech off of him, but he chose to go out and do this. And it happened over and over and over, and people spoke up. Not everyone. Some were paid off, some went away, some were too scared to damage their reputation, but some did speak up. And those that spoke up told their friends, and those that didn't speak up told their friends, and then they told their friends, and they told their friends. So this rumor gets around that this guy's a creep, but no one is willing to not do business with him because of his money. So let's say you're an actress, you're like, I hate Harvey Weinstein, he's horrible. Oh, look, Sony's making a new movie. Great, I'll do it. Oh, it's also produced by the Weinstein Company. And you tell Sony, this guy's a creep, I don't want to be around him. It's like, well, too bad. He's financed financing the film. Sony should be responsible for that. Oh, I really want to make some big budget movies. Well, Quentin, we don't want to work with, Harvey because he's a fucking creep. And Quentin says, well, he's got the money. He's willing to bankroll these crazy films. I'm sorry, but we're working with him. Quentin is now responsible. And the same goes for Ben Affleck. The same goes for Matt Damon. Same goes for, Meryl Streep and any other actor or actress or producer or production company that worked with him. Because if you had an idea that this guy was not a savory person, you have the option of saying no. And they didn't. And that's why I condemn them. And I condemn Twitter for not doing enough to prevent the banning of people, whether or not they violate the terms of service. It was too important of it to, like, they've ignored the terms of service countless times to help their friends. This is an instance where they should have done it to support a victim of rape.
So while I don't disagree with what your statement is, this is the same as my statement of saying somebody who believes in creationism should not be allowed to use technology. That's basically the statement that you're making in terms of putting every single person into this pile and saying, we shouldn't support any of these people. The thing is, like, again, yes, those individuals, they may have known something, they should have said something, they should have done something.
Your analogy wasn't good. I'm just going to put that out there. It wasn't good.
But there is like 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 people that it takes to make these movies, to make these films.
But they are not getting the money. When I buy a Blu-ray, it is not the key grip who's getting money.
It is not in some instances the rest of the crew. Yes, they're not getting big royalties and stuff, but there are still people that do. My other half, she still gets a royalty check from Once Upon a Time. She still gets a royalty check from what's that cow show that's shot in Calgary?
Homeland.
Heartland. She still gets a check from Homeland. She got
that cow show.
She gets
You're really supportive.
30 cents or something every time they play that episode. But I mean, like,
yeah, but you know what? I don't want to give Harvey Weinstein $3, so
I don't want to give the guy any money either. I think that if all comes how it should, full circle, karma being what it is, the guy should be in goddamn jail.
Yeah, how is he not in jail? Is this not white privilege at its finest?
Yeah,
rich white men privilege.
The crazy thing is, like, how many people have, like, ended up in these scenarios and just gone with it? Like, that's the really messed up thing. It's like,
how many times has a black guy been arrested for rape that he didn't do?
Yeah, man.
And spends his life in jail.
It's just crazy.
But a white guy only gets 6 months.
Yeah, he didn't get any. This motherfucker didn't get any time. They're like, hey, he's obviously clearly a bad person. He's clearly a rapist. So his own company with his own name that he started was like, yo, we're firing you. Like, this is enough evidence for that. But the police are like, not enough evidence. You're free to go, sir. Have fun. What the fuck is going on in this country?
Fucked up, man.
It is fucked up.
Nobody cares about rape, apparently.
You know what? This last story was about Dove's racist Facebook advertisement, but I could give a fuck. The advertisement was longer than it was. It's a black girl taking off her shirt. She becomes a white girl. And then the white girl takes off her shirt again and becomes a brown girl. But then they cut out the part with the brown girl so it would be short enough to go in a loop. So it looked like it's a black girl becoming a white girl after becoming clean. So everyone lost their shit. I don't give a shit. They have multiculturalism and all their fucking thing. It's just a dumb ad. I use Dove. Don't care. All right. That's all for the news. Fuck the news. This whole thing just made me fucking depressed. We're all kind of divided, but kind of on the same side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we all can all agree that he's a piece of shit that deserves to go to jail forever. So.
Yeah, but I think we disagree with Twitter's responsibility to protect Rose McGowan when she's outing a rapist.
No, I don't disagree with you on that. I don't know, Twitter's fucked up. If she was banned because she doxed somebody.
Accidentally.
Yet the president has doxed people before, apparently, and not been banned.
Right.
I'm not okay with that. That's not right. So even if that's why they banned her without banning him, like, it still makes Twitter a piece of shit. And I don't believe that's why they banned her. I honestly believe they banned her because she was coming out with all this information about being a rape victim. And I don't agree with that. I think that is fucking ridiculous. And I'm 100% on her side in that case.
I think it was the engagement she was causing. She was kind of spearheading, hey, this person is responsible, this person is responsible, this person is responsible. Yeah. And it was causing a Twitter firestorm, and Twitter was trying to mitigate it, and they banned her and looked for whatever excuse they could.
Well, she's made Twitter worry for a long time. Like, this isn't the first time that they've been like, oh, okay, Rose. Like,
yeah.
Like, she worries them.
And
which is
she
a good
should.
thing.
And you know what, Rose? I thought you were like a hyper cunt that ruined, what's his name's marriage? The guy who directed Predators, the new one, and From Dusk Till Dawn, and Grindhouse. Robert Rodriguez. I thought you ruined his marriage, and you're a horrible person. But you know what? You might just be an okay person that really had a hard life. And if that's the case, I apologize for all the horrible things I said about Red Sonja. I was actually really excited about that movie.
And also, if you're a woman, don't tweet tomorrow.
How about if you're a person, don't tweet tomorrow? How about we show solidarity and make that entire fucking thing collapse?
Rose said it.
Yeah, you know, and I think that, you know, she's making the rally cry for that because she feels support from the female community. Let's show that all genders will support, not, you know, an equal footing for everyone. Because there's a lot of us who want women to be equal so that they can be the breadwinners and I can stay home and play video games. And I'm dreaming of that day where that stigma is removed. So let's work towards equality so I can stay home.
Oh, no, she wants men to do it, too. So there you go.
Oh, good. All right, let's start off with the trailers. Is everyone queued up and ready to go?
Yeah.
Did Shane disappear?
Which one are we doing first?
Shane's dead. I'm assuming he's gone. Bye, Shane.
No.
All right, so first off, we're going to start...
I'm right here. What are you talking about?
Oh, you were
There you
clicking
are.
away and smoking, and then you had to mute your mic, so that's why your responses take so fucking long and come at awkward times?
I'm currently loading up some trailers.
I'm going to load you up a trailer with your white face, you trailer garbage man. Ooh.
That looks terrible. Even
I think I just spat my own Eminem Cypher right there. This is really good.
Oh, God, no.
I'm starting to slur my
Are we
words.
doing color commentary while we watch these trailers.
Fuck yes, we are. You think I'm not going to talk over a fucking trailer? Who do you think I am? All right, so what we're going to be watching today, now for trailer time with ROFLcast, where we will be watching new trailers and telling you why they are great or why they are bad thing that starts with a G. So we're going to have Stranger Things, Star Wars, Pac Rim 2, Justice League, and Thor Ragnarok, which is directed by a minority, in case people didn't know. We're going to do it in that order. Is everyone ready to go?
All
right, sorry, Stranger Things first?
All right, Stranger Things in 3, 2, 1.
That's not enough time.
Okay, ready?
No, just bear. I don't know. Make small talk.
So what I loved about Stranger Things season 1 was that it like perfectly represented my childhood, like to a T. Riding around on our bikes, playing Dungeons and Dragons, and like begging my mom to play a little bit longer. And then one of my friends goes missing in the woods when a monster comes along.
So we're watching this 47-second trailer.
It's a teaser.
Isn't there like an actual full trailer that's out now?
Yep, and we're watching this teaser, which will be weird. Okay, ready?
Ready.
The trailer comes out Friday the 13th. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 2. Ooh, creepy.
3.
Oh, I love this.
4.
Like a pulp horror VHS effect.
6.
Slasher film.
7.
That should be a picture of 7.
8. 9. 10.
Was that Benicio del Toro?
11. 12.
Oh, that's creepy.
On Friday the 13th.
Woo!
Watch the final trailer. Once will never be enough.
That's really fun. I love that pulpiness. That was super cool. Really, really dug that.
I
do like the
feel.
B-ratedness as well.
That was a really, really great teaser. I thought that's really fun. I think they're really nailing the marketing campaign with Stranger Things too. Are you guys as hyped as I am for this?
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, Stranger Things 1 was awesome, and I'm very excited for the second season. Although I will say, in general, teaser trailers for trailers kind of piss me off.
Oh, really?
They're doing a teaser for a trailer that's dropping in a day or 2 days. It's like, come on, just give me the damn real trailer. I don't need to see a teaser.
It's a few seconds, and it was a way for them to do something campy and fun, set in the era, without diluting the brand. And I thought it was really great. Heartless motherfucker. All right, next up, we got Star Wars The Last Jedi.
So I have not watched this yet. I've been avoiding this.
I haven't either.
Because I was like, I'm going to try to watch the new Star Wars.
You do not see anything new.
Okay, so
you guys ready?
I'm just making sure this ad doesn't come on.
Can we do the Care Bear countdown?
5, 4, 3, 2,
1, go.
Kylo Ren in a ship
Like
bay.
the
Hey, look, they have little things to cut the ropes so they don't trip anymore. Good job, AT-ATs.
Oh, but I like making them trip.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's a cool shot.
That's part of the game.
Ooh, that looks great. Thanks, Rian Johnson.
Something truly special.
Let's flicker
was very suggestive.
It's Ireland.
Ray's got a big dick.
Inside me has always been there,
Robohand. Ooh, Mordor.
but now it's awake,
Are those books in a tree stump?
and I need help.
Oh, great stuff. You fat bitch.
Oh yeah.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then.
That's the Temple of the Jedi.
It does now.
Let the past die.
Ooh, carbon fiber scar
Kill
tissue.
it. If you have to.
Oh.
Yeah, kill your mom.
It's the only way to become what you were meant to be.
Oh, sick. Ooh.
We are the spark
Yeah, it was me.
that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
Yeah. Brian of Tarth is back.
This is not going to go the way you think. Fulfill your
Scarab.
destiny.
Whoa, Dobby's a free elf.
You leave Dobby
I
alone.
need someone
That was for sure Dobby.
to show me my place in all this.
They're gonna go full Game of Thrones and she's gonna fuck her brother, who's Kylo Ren.
Tickets available now.
I bought my
That looks
tickets.
significantly better than Rogue One.
Wow, you were saying things to piss me off because that looks like dog shit.
What?
That looks like utter dog shit.
Significantly better than Rogue One.
Rogue One was the best Star Wars movie ever made, and this one is fucking shit.
Rogue One was an absolute pile of dog shit for the first hour, and then it became a good movie.
Rogue One was an actual movie, which they've never done before in the Star Wars universe.
Rogue One had boring, bland characters that annoyed the piss out of me, and the only thing that saved that film were the action scenes and the action sequences in the back half of the film. But it was just so boring and dour and not fun and not entertaining.
Yeah,
And
it was a real war
I
movie.
had
Oh no.
I had like this weird CGI Grand Moff Tarkin thing going on, and weird CGI Princess Leia
I like
face.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Uncanny Valley weird shit. Anyway,
it's
this
Uncanny
movie
Valley.
will be significantly better. And what are you talking about? Rian Johnson is a great director, and this
Rian
looks
Johnson is
really
one of the
good.
best directors, and they gutted this movie like they gutted every movie. Same thing with Gareth Edwards. He's an amazing director, and they ruined Rogue One. The same thing that they're going to do here. You remember that scene? Like, there's a whole... Knowing if you watch a trailer for Rogue One, and then watch the movie, and you start seeing that none of those scenes are in the movie, and you're like, wow, they must have really edited this. I wonder what they added. Like how she was supposed to... Worst Witch was supposed to be fighting a bunch of stormtroopers and a... what are the two-legged guys called?
AT-ATs or AT-ATs?
Is it AT-AT? ATST, yeah. ATSTs, and instead she runs over and saves a young Asian girl. That's the scene that they replace it with, and it's very blatant. At the end, she's supposed to face off with a TIE fighter. The TIE fighter just never shows up. There's a whole bunch of shit that they did to ruin that movie, but that aside, it was a well-made movie that was good. They've never done that before. Something that's shot well, that has acted well, that, you know, is fucking intense and is gritty and is sad and shows you the horrors of war. They've never done that. That was their Empire Strikes Back, and now this was supposed to be Empire Strikes Back. So we
No,
know,
Empire Strikes Back is their Empire Strikes Back.
but that's the thing. So this new trilogy, like the first movie is about we meet up with on a desert planet and meet an orphan who is super talented, and then she meets someone that helps teach her about this magical thing of the Force, and finds out she's a family lineage to fight off this other evil person who she might be related to, but has succumbed to the dark side and was once good. Sound familiar? Yeah, because that was the exact movie for the first Star Wars was. Beat for beat. It's the same fucking movie. So that means that this second one is supposed to be the same movie as Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it's a
This
sequel.
doesn't look anything like Empire Strikes Back. There's fucking fuzzy penguins and frost wolves. It looks like a fucking
How
Pokemon
dare
movie.
you?
Those frost wolves are
Penguins
gay as
should be
shit. That penguin's
You're
fucking
complaining
faggy.
that the Force Awakens is too much like the first one, then shouldn't you be not complaining that this isn't enough?
No,
like
but this is
Empire
just like the
Strikes Back?
fucking Force Awakens. They're not even doing the good Star Wars.
Yeah,
Empire Strikes Back.
you can't make that judgment or that assessment until you've seen the movie movie.
You're right.
You're
I'm
just
basing
going
this
off
on
of
the trailer. This is called Judge a Book by its cover. We're judging it by its cover.
Don't be a dick and go watch the movie.
I'm
I'm gonna watch the movie. I already have my. Do you have your ticket? Because I got my ticket.
And that movie doesn't come out for like 2.5 months. I don't need to buy tickets now.
Yeah,
I go
dude.
on Christmas Day, so it'll be fine.
Oh, it must be nice not to have a family.
I know. Trailer looks good though.
We celebrate Christmas Eve, asshole.
Oh, cute. Here's why this movie doesn't look good. We didn't see really any new stuff. It's all just the same recycled stuff with slight updates. We also didn't see, which is what pisses me off about Star Wars, is that the prequels, I know they were shitty, but they had a bunch of new shit. Can't argue that. All new ships, all new species.
No,
all
we
new
saw
planets.
new things. That weird penguin thing, that was new.
Yeah, okay,
And,
this is what I'm saying.
Adorable.
Those wannabe AT-AT Walker things, those were new.
No, that's an AT-AT Walker with fucking leg braces.
With
They look like
weird
they're wearing
head
UGG boots.
thing. But
That's
they-
just an
they were still
updated
new
AT-AT.
things. Yeah, I'm not, you are not going to be able to defend George Lucas's prequel trilogy.
George Lucas is an
against these
idea
films.
factory. His storytelling's not great, but he
his
has
script writing is garbage.
Yes,
and his,
I get
his
that. And
storytelling is like
his dialogue is bad, but he has
his
cool
dialogue is written
ideas,
by a
dude.
fucking like elementary school child. But I mean, just stop trying to judge it by the cover. And
That's
hold
what
on
this
to your
segment's
damn
called.
opinions.
The segment is called Judge a Book by its cover, where we give
it
our
is?
reviews based on the fucking trailers.
I didn't know this. I
You
think it looks
did.
great.
You came up with the name like 8 years ago.
I did? Holy shit, it's been a while.
Jesus Christ.
So, what do you think, Kayla? What did you...
I think you all are just jerks. I'm super excited. I think it looks awesome.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, here's why
I
it looks...
also really like the first one.
I don't
too.
like that the only new
Yeah.
shit that they added were little fuzzy fucking Pokemon. Fuck their
I like
Pokemon and those
animals,
fucking
so-
little creatures. This is like their version of the Ewoks. They're trying to add cute shit so that people will buy
don't
more
think we're gonna have
merchandise.
Ewoks in this. Yes, there
being
was
a
a
bitch
porg,
about it.
but there you go.
Yeah,
Kayla said
it was a porg idea.
That's a horrible pun.
We're gonna watch this movie
Stop
and it's
being
gonna
a
suck.
bitch about it.
But you dug your feet so deep into the sand that you're not gonna admit that it sucks, and I'm gonna
I'm
get
just
so
saying
fucking angry with
I'm
you.
holding my judgment until after I've seen the
No,
film. But
we judge it now.
no, I'm gonna hold my judgment until after I see the film.
We have to. We're trying to
I'm
make.
gonna watch the film and I'm still gonna love it.
This is the thing. We have to learn how to anticipate these films. So
This
based
is
on,
gonna be better than the prequels, okay? This will be better than the prequels.
can you say prequel less weird? Because it's pissing me off.
Prequel.
The thing you've done that upset me most during this entire time is the way you fucking say prequel.
Should we watch the next trailer?
Okay, fine. Pacific Rim Uprising Trailer 1, which is Pacific Rim 2.
So we're doing it on go?
Care Bear
I
Countdown.
already don't care.
3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh, Universal. Ooh, Legendary. Ooh, Destruction. Ooh, Transformers.
Did Michael Bay direct this?
Yeah, this is 100%
Looks like it.
Transformers. No, wait, there's no lens flare.
We were born into a world at war.
It says Stormtrooper.
Finn F137. That's racist, man.
To stop the
That's
people we had
the
sacrificed enough.
police call sign for a homicide.
But the war we thought
Oh, his dad is Idris Elba.
Bringing the Zords back.
Oh, dude, Heimdall's kid becomes a Jedi.
and the only thing standing in front of the apocalypse
Are poorly made robots that don't make any sense.
is us. But it doesn't matter where you came from, who believed in you and who didn't.
So it's another Transformers movie. Woo!
No, this looks like it has a story almost.
If there's a slow motion scene, I'm out.
Everything's they're all in slow motion. We just can't notice it.
Oh,
I like how they are dancing in those robot suits inside of this machine instead of just using like planes and shit, which would be way more effective.
And they could wipe out all life.
The human form is like the least effective type of movement for a robot ever. That's why our robots suck ass, but our weird bent leg robots are fucking awesome.
I think I could get used to this.
Oh, there's a girl with a black guy. Interracial. They're pushing boundaries in this one. Oh, that looks awesome. That looks awesome.
Well, he's pretty big.
That's literally a transformer right there. There's Optimus. That's literally another weapon from Transformers.
just like adult Power Rangers.
Excuse me, Power Rangers is for adults. Yeah, this was like a better Power Rangers movie.
Say, like, when are the Power Rangers going to come together and form their big robot?
Didn't they do that in the Power Rangers movie?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. It looked like garbage.
Do you know why it looked like garbage? Because it wasn't Pacific Rim. This movie is going to be dog shit. The original movie was dog shit. It had the worst dialogue of any movie ever made. And I am excited as a motherfucker for this film. Oh my god, it looks great.
I never watched the first one, and I'm probably not going to watch the second one.
Oh, yikes.
I like Boyega. He's a good actor. But I don't know. I didn't like the first one very much.
I love John Boyega because he's been in one good movie.
Attack the Block?
Yeah.
That was really good.
That's probably the best sci-fi movie he's ever been in.
But Pacific Rim, I don't know, man. It just seems so... I don't know.
Juvenile?
Yes.
Okay, it's not
word.
good. I know that. The story is non-existent. The acting is bad.
I do like B-rated camp, so...
But it's not even good B-rated camp. It's just a bad movie. But the robot action is beautiful and awesome, and I fucking love it. So that's what I'm tuning in for. I know what I'm getting out of that movie, and it looks fun. And that giant Zerg thing is fucking cool as fuck. So I'm gonna go watch some shit blow up and get baked and watch some shit blow up.
I hope you enjoy it thoroughly.
So neither of you guys are checking that one out? That one's a no-go?
I might go to it just to review it, but beyond that, it's not really on the top of my list of movies that I want
All right, we are all watching this movie. It is now decided. This is going to be our next official...
I was going to say the only way I'm watching this is if you guys force me to watch this.
We will send you a ticket. We'll put it on the budget. All right, let's load up Justice League.
You're going to make me go alone? That's just rude.
We'll Skype in with you, but you put us on silent so we don't say anything. Can we get 2 large iPads and have us face the screen as well, but also pay for tickets? Just like us on broomsticks?
That'd be so awesome.
All right, you guys ready for Justice League?
Yeah.
All right, 3,
Official Heroes
2,
trailer.
1, go.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Woo, fancy.
Hello.
Gorgeous. Oh, handsome. That was a really short trailer. Well, that's it, guys, for ROFLcast. No, okay, it's kind of a weird way to start the trailer. Oh, is that Green Lantern?
Nice visuals.
Oh, it's weird watching Justice, like a Zack Snyder film that has color in it. It's real bizarre.
Green? What's that?
Yeah, I only know swamp green and dark browns. Whew, hello, handsome.
Take that as a yes.
Look at that jawline. Should be illegal.
What? It should be.
The ring.
He looks so much like fucking Superman. Holy shit. Haha, you're alone. Haha, your boyfriend's dead.
More dream sequence flashbacks.
Yeah, how unlike this. Ooh.
I had a dream.
Oh, that looks cool.
It was the end of the world.
Steppenwolf!
Invasion.
I'm more excited about the Themyscira early fight scene.
Something more. Something darker.
Oh, Batfleck.
It'd be funny if you put on blackface when you said that.
Oh my god.
The Batwing.
Asking people we don't know to risk their lives.
Ooh, that's bad CG. That's also bad CG.
You ever heard that? That's not a saying.
Hello.
That's the opposite of what the saying is. Divided. We are not enough.
Oh, Flash looks great.
The world needs Superman.
Huh?
I made him a promise. This is why I brought you together. Ride ain't over yet. Oh, man.
Lame.
I was like, that's awesome. You're like, that's lame.
No, that's the thing was not what he said.
Oh, yeah. Yay, Batman has rockets. He loves those. You know, Batman and guns. He's a big fan.
Rockets aren't guns.
Yeah, they are. They're projectiles.
I hope it has a story.
Awesome. As a bat signal that you're... Oh, sorry. That's your signal. That means we have to go now.
That's what that.
It's so cool.
Oh, God, I love Flash. I think Flash is great.
Oh, I love nerds.
Oh, this movie looks shit. Christ. I don't know what I'm less excited for, Justice League or Star Wars Episode X1 XX64.
But I mean, like, realistically, it doesn't have a lot to live up to.
No, not after Batman v Superman.
It looks
Yeah,
like
like Wonder Woman's probably the only one that it has to live up to.
the trip. Well, even that movie isn't that good. The
Try to make it a
trailer,
little more lighthearted.
like what?
Make it a little more lighthearted.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what Whedon was brought on for. So people that don't know, I believe Zack Snyder's daughter killed herself, so he didn't finish the film. And Joss Whedon came and took over duties, but then reshot everything. But Henry Cavill had a mustache. They had to CG out the mustache. It was a whole ordeal. So
Damn Henry Cavill.
this movie is going to be one of those other movies that is a movie by committee that's gone through too many hands and has seen too much influence to the point where it's not going to be what it could have been. But looks like they've made a lot of fun moments. I think Flash is really funny.
He's a good actor too, that guy.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just seems like it might be acceptable, but the way that they postulated this trailer was like it was a fucking Guardians of the Ga'Hoole or one of those like gay ass fantasy kids movies. Because it that fucking song, what was that, 30 Seconds to Mars or some shit? Like, holy god, that is the wrong tone for this. Especially when they're doing all classic rock before. I don't know. It just looks like, oh, we can work together. Let's do it together. Like, it seems so campy and cheesy. And they're already wearing campy and cheesy outfits as it is. So,
man, I will take the campy and cheesy over the dour that was Batman v Superman.
Give me the dour, buddy. Give me the realism.
Oh.
Give me Man of Steel.
The plot was so garbage.
Yeah, the plot was the problem. The problem wasn't the tone of the movie.
I didn't mind Man of Steel, but Batman v Superman, it was just
Batman v Superman did not have a tone problem; it had a script problem.
Yeah,
plot and script problem for sure.
Well, yeah. Sorry, when I mean script, I mean I don't necessarily think the dialogue was bad. It was just the story.
It had some of the most amazing Batman sequences. I think
the most amazing Batman sequences. The best Batman fight scene ever. The best Batman intro we've ever seen.
That's why it should have been a Batman movie, and Superman should have just came in at the end.
It doesn't make Batman vs Superman doesn't make sense as a concept. Not the way that they set it up. They were supposed to make it. They should have made a Superman movie, a Superman 2 movie, and a Batman movie, and release them semi congruously so that they lead into each other. Then do Batman vs Superman. Then do Justice League. But they rushed it.
Should have done it like the comics. They were talking about, we're not going to use the comic storyline.
Which
blah,
comics
blah, blah, blah.
though? And they did use a comic storyline. He's a huge comic fan. You can tell.
They didn't. They told them that they weren't going to use. There's an exact comic storyline that is the Batman v Superman story. It is called Batman. What is it?
There's first of all, I've let's just put this out here. I have encyclopedic knowledge of Batman. I know everything there is to know. I've read every Batman comic ever written.
Okay, what's the Batman comics from the 80s that Frank Miller did?
The Dark Knight, and then The Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Yes, that series of comics has awesome sequences with Batman and Superman. Why didn't they just use that?
Whoa, that's like a post-apocalyptic future one. I mean,
but
they actually
that
did
is
use
amazing.
it.
That is the best story.
But dude, they did use
awesome.
it. They used a kryptonite arrow. They used his exact suit.
No.
The Batmobile, the same one.
He spoke at Comic-Con. Zack Snyder did talking about how they weren't going to use that story. It was going to be completely original. And yes, I agree completely with you. They stole a bunch of stuff from it.
Yeah,
but they should have just goddamn used it. And
dude,
they should have just adapted that to film.
The first half of that book is talking heads on the TV. It is so boring. All right?
No, but they could have adapted it. It was awesome.
It was about Reagan control. Okay, so for people that don't know, The Dark Knight was released by Frank Miller in 1986. It wasn't part of the regular continuity, but it was added in as its own Elseworlds tale. It tells a story of a 58-year-old Batman who's aging, has a bum ticker, and the world's kind of gone to shit. It's been overrun by...
Like they knocked out, right?
What?
Go on.
So there's a gang of mutant people called the Mutants, and they're causing havoc a lot like the Joker gang did in Batman Beyond. So Batman decides to get his shit together, go out there and start fucking people up again. So he does, and he creates a suit, like that big bulky that thatched suit and that bat symbol and that Batmobile are all directly from The Dark Knight. And he goes out there to kind of clean up the mess that he feels that he started. And he beats the shit out of the head of the mutants, and he gives rise to these people to become vigilantes themselves, and they call themselves the Sons of the Bat. Now, the president at the time, which is analogous of Reagan, which I guess could have been updated for Trump, is in control of Shazam and Superman, and it causes a bunch of conflict, and that's what leads to Batman versus Superman. And Batman uses that armored outfit fueled by kryptonite to beat the shit out of Superman, And then eventually, the next book, he breaks out all the old Justice League members, and they all team together to fight off the final evil. But they can't do that storyline because it's really far in the future, though. They wouldn't be like.
It's like they tried to do that, but then they just did a really shitty
No.
job.
What they did is they took 6 different comics and they put them together. So we saw the Omega symbol and Steppenwolf in the Elseworlds tale, where Superman was essentially Red Sun. And the Flash, like the side Flash sequence in Batman v Superman, when they're in that kind of deserty scene and Superman's a bad guy. Then they took the story of Luthor summoning Brainiac as like the next big bad to come down, and that's essentially what leads to Steppenwolf coming down first. Then they also added in the storyline of Batman v Superman from the from the Michael Turner comics, and then they also added in the story of Doomsday. What
you're trying to say is that they made a convoluted mess that turned into a really shitty movie that got like 4 out of 10 on Metacritic.
I think that the movie wasn't as bad as everyone says, but yes, you are essentially right. And I think that the same problem is what was plaguing. I think the same problem was plaguing Justice League, and I think in their efforts to clean it up, they actually made it gayer and worse. And I don't think this is the movie that it could have been, much like Fantastic Four would have been. I don't think this trailer sets the right tone, and it worries me for the direction the studio's trying to push it in. And yeah, I'm just sad.
I have faith in Joss Whedon.
I did have faith in Joss Whedon, because I love Buffy, until I saw Age of Ultron, and I was like, oops. This movie
as bad as BVS.
Yeah, it was.
Disagree.
And on to Thor we go.
All right, final trailer.
Thor.
We got Thor Ragnarok International Trailer number 3. This will be the final trailer before Thor comes out on November 8th. It is directed by Taika Waititi, who you might know from Flight of the Conchords, and one of my favorite movies of all time, What We Do in the Shadows. He is also rumored to be working on the live-action Akira adaptation, and if he does, he'll be casting all Asian actors, which is really, really exciting. I think he's an excellent director, and I'm super excited to see this. Have you guys seen What We Do in the Shadows?
No.
Oh my god, it's the funniest movie. Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords, the aforementioned, is in it. It's a really hilarious vampire movie. If you want to have a really good laugh, that's an excellent movie to sit down to tonight. All right, ready? In 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello to all the fans in China.
Hello,
I
handsome.
already know that Marvel Studios Thor Ragnarok is confirmed and will be released in China.
Hey, what's Galadriel doing there?
Watch Thor Ragnarok when it comes to a cinema near
Hey, Fenrir. That's Loki's son. He has 2 kids. One is a giant wolf. The other is the embodiment of hell.
I sense a great change in your future.
Yeah, it's Doctor Strange.
He has dire plans for you, my friend.
I have dire plans for destiny.
Cool.
Oh, snap.
Love this.
Hela, the goddess of death, has invaded Asgard.
I thought you'd be glad to see me.
Oh, that is Hela. Yeah, so it's Hel, his daughter.
God is dead. It'll be reborn in my image.
We need to stop her here and now.
To prevent Ragnarok, the end of everything.
So putting together a team.
The Defenders. It's the Defenders movie.
Surprise! This will be such fun.
Hello.
Hi.
He's a fighter.
Here we go! I'm not a queen or a monster. I'm the goddess of death. What were you the god of again?
Actually seems pretty fun.
That looks
I feel
super
like you guys
fun.
enjoyed this one the most because you didn't say a damn word.
This, oh man, I don't know. That looks super fucking fun. I just think that this movie is a victim of having too many storylines as well.
Maybe, but my love for Loki is irrational.
So in Norse mythology, Loki has 2 kids. One is Fenrir, which is a giant wolf, and the other one is Hel, who is a beautiful woman on one side and death, like a rotting corpse on the other. So if she touches you with one side, you feel the greatest pleasure you'll ever feel. On the other side, the greatest agony. She lives in the underworld, where you walk on cobblestones made of the faces of those who ran away in battle. And this is where the Christians got the modern myth of hell from, actually taking her name Hela and just turning it to hell and the underworld and all that bullshit, because hell was invented. Let's get your initial thoughts on it. Kayla, you start.
I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be good, but like you said, if there's too many storylines, it may kind of get a little bit, I don't know. I really hope it's not, because I just find a lot of movies are just trying to cram so much shit into one movie that it's just like,
Yeah, that's my biggest problem, like with this, or like my biggest concern rather, is that he's facing off against 4 villains that we know of. We have the Keeper, who they have World War Hulk. So Hulk was causing too much destruction on Earth during Civil War. The Illuminati, which is Black Panther, Professor X, Doctor Strange. I'm missing somebody. Mr. Fantastic. They put basically Hulk on a spaceship and sent him to like a peaceful planet where there was no intelligent life, so he couldn't hurt anyone anymore. But he woke up mid-flight, started knocking around the ship, went through a wormhole, ended up on a battle planet with gladiators, and then fought off, became their greatest gladiator. It's a gladiator movie with Hulk in
Planet
space.
Hulk, man. I've been saying that for years. Like,
So
if you
good.
heard a podcast from like 5 years ago,
Yes.
you would hear me talking about how they should make a movie of that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we were just discussing this for such a long time. So they're putting that element in it, but they're also using Thor Ragnarok, which means end days in Norse mythology, where I guess Hela is going to destroy Asgard while Odin is in the Odin sleep. But I guess that's another big storyline. And then they also have another big villain who's like, okay, so there's the Frost Giants, and then there's like the Fire Giants, and this guy is the head of the Fire Giants. Make sense? Mm-hmm. He's also in the movie, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. I like that they have. I love that they have like Hulk, Strange, and Thor together. It's such an interesting mix-up, and I think it's gonna be a really fun movie. I think Taika Waititi does a really, really fun. He makes really fun movies, so I'm excited for it.
Well, and this is definitely a precursor to Infinity War as well. Like, I don't know how much you guys know about Thanos and like his backstory in terms of why he's trying to get the Infinity Gauntlet and who he's trying to impress and stuff like that. But there is some characters in this film, this Thor Ragnarok, and different things that seem like it's just prepping us for the Infinity War movie.
So, what would you say? Are you excited most about this one?
Definitely. Out of all the trailers, Star Wars.
Get the fuck out of here if you see Star Wars.
Or Thor Ragnarok.
We didn't see anything.
Man,
we didn't see anything from Stranger Things, and the Star Wars trailer is.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that was a trailer to the trailer. So we're gonna just
turned into robots.
Yeah, trailer of a trailer. Stranger Things does not get a vote. Star Wars or Thor Ragnarok. The thing is, like, I was so unimpressed with the last Thor movie. Like, just extremely
Thor 2's
unimpressed with
first 15 minutes was really good.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours long though.
Yeah, but you gotta give it though. The first 15 minutes were awesome when he battles the Frost Giants. That was wicked.
Totally. Yeah, 15. So that's like 15% of the film was great. But I am actually really excited to see the new Thor Ragnarok, which is surprising because I didn't think I was going to be, and this trailer definitely made me stoked to see it.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to both. But
cool. I will say my most anticipated will be Thor right now. I think it'll just be the most fun of the 4 movie trailers we watched. Of course, Stranger Things will always have my vote, but yeah, I'm most excited for Thor. I think that'll be the best one of the bunch. How about you, Kay?
You can hate me, Star Wars. I don't care. Fucking movie.
Well, when that movie comes out and it sucks, we should like put a bet on this. Which movie's best?
Well, we did do a 3.5 hour review of Star Wars last time?
Yeah, we'll do another 3.5 hour of
I think we'll have to do another one again for this one.
Wow.
I know.
I do have a life? No, I don't.
That's all for this week's ROFLcast. Thanks everyone so much for listening. You can see us on ROFLcast.com. You can see me on Twitter at Achilles, where I'll be banned and suspended probably by now. Kayla, where can they find you?
Kayla Quinn _9 on Instagram.
And
where
Shane.
all my things are.
This is Shane. You can find me at Dr. Raffle on Twitter.
All right, thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, we remain podcasting.
Something has to change, and things will never be the same. You tear my mind.